If I told you that you can see real SEO results without waiting 6 months, would you want to know how? Well, let me show you exactly how you can 10x your website traffic in just 30 minutes using this 3-step SEO framework. My client used this exact method to increase his traffic by 10 times last month without spending a dime. And the best part, I put together all the templates and resources you need inside my school community, link in the description. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to implement these quick SEO fixes and start seeing results without spending months waiting for traffic to grow. Now, most people think ranking higher on Google is complicated, that you need a massive content strategy, backlinks, and months of optimization just to move up a few spots. But that's just simply not true. The biggest SEO wins don't come from adding more, they come from fixing what's already there. But here's the thing. You don't need to fix everything at once. There are just a few key areas on your page that make or break your rankings. And if you get them right, Google will naturally start pushing your page higher. So let's start with the first one. Most people get this completely wrong. They spend time tweaking their design, adding fancy elements to their site, or even writing longer articles, thinking that's what Google wants. But here's what actually moves the needle. The first critical element is your first paragraph. Google's algorithm now prioritizes what I've called goal completion, meaning does your content answer the searcher's question immediately? Google doesn't care if you keep people on your site longer. They don't care how many words your article has. All its algorithm cares about is that users get what they come for and they get that information quickly. So if your first paragraph delivers the answer instantly, Google will reward you with higher ranking. And if it doesn't, you're going to get buried. Let me show you this with a couple of real examples. I'll just quickly search here on Google, what is SEO? And the first result from search engine land, we see almost immediately SEO stands for search engine optimization. This is goal completion. They answer my question in the first few words of the article. We can check it again with a similar search, how to design a website. And we'll go for the first result. And same type of idea here, how to design a website is answered very, very quickly on this page. No fancy introduction, no fluff. We just get the answer immediately in the first few sentences, or in this case, it was the first few words. Now, meanwhile, most websites, and especially local businesses, are burying the answer deep inside their content, or they start with a bunch of irrelevant introduction information. Long, flowery introduction that people said you needed years ago to hold engagement. And that brings me to the next biggest factor. Even though your first paragraph is now perfect, Google still needs to know what your page is actually about. And that's where your title tag and your H1 tag come in. Your title tag reinforces with Google what your page is about. So many local businesses I see have their title tag set to the word home because that was the default in the website builder. This is very confusing to Google. You will almost always rank first for a search of your title tag, so make sure it's what you want to rank for. And your H1, this reinforces what your page is about. If your H1 doesn't match the search intent, Google won't trust your content. Now, let's go back to the what is SEO search. Here, we can see that the title tag and the H1 tag both perfectly match this target search. Compare that to a local business website with the title tag home or our services. Google has no idea what they do, so those sites won't rank. And here's the best part. You don't need to write new content or change your entire website. Just by fixing your first paragraph, your title tag, and your H1, you can give Google exactly what it needs to move your page higher. Now, even if you nail these 3 elements, there's still one final piece that determines whether you stay stuck or you start climbing the rankings. Let me show you that critical third part. Have you ever searched for something on Google and noticed a pattern in the search results? For example, if you go onto Google and you search black dress, every single result is an e-commerce page. The results for this search are shopping. That means if you write a blog article about black dresses, you're never going to rank. Why? Because Google already knows what people searching for this item want. They want to buy a black dress, not to read. Now, if we change our search to black dress history, suddenly all of these shopping pages are going to disappear. And now we see blog posts talking about the history of a black dress. No shopping anymore. Same topic, but completely different intent. And this happens everywhere. If we search for water heater repair, all the results are local service providers. But if we search for how to repair a water heater, we get DIY guides instead. Same topic, different searcher intent. This is why so much content never ranks. People write about what they want to write about instead of matching what Google already knows searchers want to see. You can think of Google like an open book test. If you want to rank for any keyword, just look at what's already in the top spots and create a website that's similar but better. You can't be completely different. Outliers just don't rank on Google. That's how its data-driven search algorithm works. It knows what people, on average, want for any given search. And this is the final optimization that you need to make. Because even if your title tag, H1, and first paragraph are perfect, if your content doesn't match search intent, you're never going to rank. So let's put this all together. Let me show you how to use these 3 key elements that control your ranking. Now, those elements are: number 1, your first paragraph. Answer the searcher's question immediately. Number 2, your title tag and your H1 tag. Make sure they're clear, keyword focused, and aligned. And third, finally, search intent. Look at what's already ranking and make sure your content follows the right format. That's it. No backlinks, no endless content creation, just 3 simple tweaks. Now, even if you do everything right, you still need to know which pages to optimize first. Otherwise, you're wasting your time on pages that won't move the needle. Instead of guessing, we're going to come on over to the Google Search Console. This is pretty easy to set up. Google provides instructions on how to get this set up for your website. So I'm going to take a look at this one, and I'm going to go down to search results, and I'm going to add average position. Now, what we're going to do is filter by position, and we're going to look for everything in position 6 or greater. And the reason for position 6 is this click-through rate average for Google search. In search position 6, we have 4.4 clicks. So for 1,000 searches, we're going to get 44 clicks. If we move this even a little bit to position 3 with 10.2%, now for 1,000 searches, we're going to get 102 clicks. That's over twice as many clicks just for moving up a couple of positions. And once we get lower than position 6, this click-through rate levels out and goes basically to 0. So this is the goal. We're going to find keywords where we're in position 6 or lower, not too low. We still want to be within the first 15 results or so. And we're going to work to get them up to position 3, 4, 2, just slight increases, which will significantly increase traffic. So what we're going to look at is we come down here and we can see all of these keywords that we're in the top 6 for. And look through this list for your own website and think about which query you might want to try to push up to get more traffic from it. Let's try carrier replacement parts. So we can click on this search phrase there, and once it loads, we see pages, and now we can look at the pages. So these are all of the pages on this domain that Google has indexed for this keyword. We clearly care about this one here because it is getting clicks and impressions. The others are not. So we'll click on this top page, and now I'm going to get rid of the query by Xing that out here. So now I can see all of the queries that this page is currently ranking for. And remember, we're looking for carrier replacement parts here on position 6. The challenge that we have is if we optimize for carrier replacement parts, we might lose rank position that we have for other keywords. In this case, we might lose carrier HVAC parts or carrier parts. So when we're choosing which page to optimize for which keyword, we want to make sure that we find a page that isn't getting much traffic other than the target keyword we're going to optimize for. This one, not quite right. So I'm going to click out of this and head back to my queries and again, filter by position. And here again, I'm just looking for a keyword that I'm interested in ranking higher for. Maybe mini split dual zone this time. We'll take a look and see if this keyword matches what we're looking for. And again, it's listing all of the pages. This top one looks the best to me because it's getting by far the most clicks, impressions. And now I'm going to remove this query so I can see all of the queries this page is ranking for. And what we see, dual zone mini split, 2-zone mini split, very, very similar keywords. And then we have 2-zone mini split, which is almost the same thing. So here we go. This one looks pretty good. I would take this and optimize for one of these keywords, probably dual zone mini split or 2-zone mini split. I would go ahead, change the title tag, change the H1, and look at the search results to decide what the searcher intent is so that we can optimize the first paragraph. So here's what you need to do. Analyze the current top ranking pages so you know exactly what Google is looking for in that keyword. Now, when you're analyzing these top ranking pages, you're going to want to look for specific patterns. What format are these pages using? Do they have lists, long form articles, comparison tables? How recent is the content? Some queries need fresh content and others don't. What specific problems are they addressing or solving in that first paragraph? Do they include prices, steps, or specific numbers? Are they using videos, images, or charts? How technical is the language? If you're trying to rank for a keyword and your page format doesn't match these patterns, you're not going to rank, no matter how well optimized your content is. Google's algorithm is just math. It uses natural language processing to figure out what your content is about. That's why you need to match these patterns. Google knows which patterns its searchers want, the patterns of the websites on top. And if you match those, you're showing Google's algorithm exactly what type of content users expect for this search. Now, if you want to do this by hand, be my guest. But if you want to speed up the process, there's a tool that can help. Let me show you how this works in Page Optimizer Pro. Now, this isn't a sponsorship or anything. I just honestly use this tool nearly every day with my team to analyze what's already ranking. There's a free trial if you want to check it out. I'll put the link in the description. I'll share my screen again so you can follow along as we use Page Optimizer Pro. Okay, so this is Page Optimizer Pro, and we're going to start by creating a new project in hvacdirect.com. And we're going to create a new on-page optimization. And the keyword we're trying for is two-zone mini split. And we know the page is that, and we'll go ahead and click that button to run it. Okay, now that it's finished running, we have a content optimization score of 37.7, but we can open this report and get a lot of data on what is going on. So the first thing to notice up here is it is giving us a target word count based on the websites that are on top of Google's rank, and it compares this to our word count. So we need to add about 500 words to this content to be where we want it to be. We also know that we do not use two-zone mini split in the title tag. So that would be something that we definitely want to go and fix. We can also see in the subheadings, we're not using quite as many as we want to for some of these other terms. And again, these are based on the other search results, what types of headings, what types of words, the patterns that are in their headings, and comparing it to our content. And here in main content, this is where it gets really interesting. For example, if we look at this one for mini split, we're using it 25 times. Based on the sites that are ranking well, we should be using it between 1 and 7. So we should edit this content to reduce the amount of times we're using the phrase mini split, and on and on and on. We can see all of these keywords with these lights on here in terms of how many we're using it and how many we should be using it. We can also take a look at page structure to give an idea of bold tags. We have too many bold tags. We have about right for the italic. We can see we have a good number of images, 174, and we should be using between 19 and 177. We have some good lists, and forms, we probably want to use a bit fewer forms. Okay. We can also see the types of schema we're using, breadcrumbs website product, which is similar to the competitors, and LSI variations, same type of thing. So what we're going to do is take the content on this page, on this two-zone mini split page, and edit it to better align with what Google's algorithm is currently rewarding, which is these other competitor sites on top of the search engine results page. And we can look at this custom strategy, and we can adjust which competitors we're analyzing against. We can adjust what type of approach we want to take. And this just basically gives us the recommendations for exactly how to edit this content so that it will rank higher. And it even prioritizes these recommendations by high, medium, or low. Now, once we make those changes, with a bit of patience, we should start seeing movement within a few weeks. Not always. And that's why, for a process like this, I would recommend this optimization for multiple keywords and multiple pages all at once. That would dramatically increase your chances of achieving these quick wins, especially for a new client. But what if you do these edits and then you wait and nothing happens? Well, that usually means one of two things. Either number one, your content isn't matching search intent closely enough. Go back and just take a look at those top results. Or the second one, you might need more authority because even if your content is perfectly optimized, Google still looks at your overall experience and trustworthiness. So if that's the case, check out my video on building EEAT. You'll find the link right here. Now remember, this is the exact system my clients have used to 10x their traffic without needing to spend any money on ads. But traffic here is really just step one. If you don't know how to turn those visitors into paying clients, you're going to be leaving money on the table. Check out this next video where I'm going to walk you through landing your first SEO client, even if you're starting from scratch. Click here and check it out.